Hey guys, what's up? And I have something really cool to share with you today. So, over the last 2 seasons, I've been pushing 8-bit a lot, and last season I hit 1200, but this season I hit 1250. So today I just want to share a little bit about my journey to 1250 and what it takes to actually get 8-bit to 1250. Because I've heard a lot in my clan and in just normal rooms that 8-bit is really easy to get to 1250, but I think right now with the current meta he's a little bit harder, and he's definitely not the easiest. Like, I'll make a video, I'll try to push next season, but I'll make a video about Pam because I think she's the easiest right now to push to 1250, but I think we'll see what happens with that push. But anyway, so the thing about 8-bit is he's just really slow, and that has a lot of, and although he has a lot of high health and high attack, the slowness is quite detrimental, especially against throwers. Like, previously in my push I started out as 1225, but then I dropped down to 1177 just because of sprouts. Like, really, if you spawn right beside a sprout and there's no one else, then the sprout's gonna take you down. There's nothing you can really do in that matchup, and I think that's the thing about 8-bit. A lot of brawlers you can run away, but 8-bit can't really run away, so there's not a lot you can do. And the same goes for Brock. Brock just does so much damage, and his shot is really easy to hit on 8-bit, so you have to change up your playstyle against those two brawlers, and mostly it involves running away or just having someone else finish the job. And I think you'll see there's not really any sprouts in this gameplay, or above 1240 I didn't really face any sprouts, so that was really good, because if I did, then I probably would have lost. So yeah, you can so I'm gonna go over a few games where I won, but also include a few games where a game where I lost, just to show the difference between winning and losing, because above 1250 you really need first or second. If you get third, you don't gain any trophies, so there's really no point in playing that match. That's usually what I think. But yeah, even like if you get third, you still learn a lot, I think. And you'll see with my gameplay that it's decently good. Like my last 3 games, they were pretty good, and that's just because I took a lot of losses along the way. Like, my push from 1225 to 1250 I thought was going to take like 2 hours, but it did end up taking around like 5 hours, just because Showdown is really not predictable, and even with 8-bit you're not going to win every single time. There's going to be a few games where you lose, and above 1250 it's like 10 minutes per game, so really if you lose once, then that's like, if you lose 13 trophies, then your push is done, or it's more like you wasted an hour, so you have to spend another hour grinding back up. But it's fun. It was a fun journey, but I don't know if maybe I'll do Pam, but I'll see next season. I'm pretty busy next week, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so with the gameplay here, you can see that I'm not really playing that aggressive, and that's one thing that I see with a lot of high-level Showdown plays, just trying to keep your distance, because if you're teaming especially, then your teammates are going to backstab you almost 80% of the time if you're low, and especially 8-bit, if you lose your first life, it's pretty bad if you lose it early on. And there were, I don't have any games here, but if you lose your life early on, then you have to play really defensive and really passive, and it just, I think, gives more incentive to your teammate to backstab, because they know that if they kill you, then you're done. You don't have any more lives. You can't respawn and kill them back. And yeah, so because I've played a few games where I've literally killed like 3 of the 10 people, and then just got or I just got killed by some bush camping. So there's not really a point to playing too aggressive. I think in Showdown you really gotta know when to go aggressive and when to stay back, and usually it's just stay back. And so yeah, you can see in this game I'm just playing really passive. I didn't go too aggressive against that Mike, because I knew that if I did, then I would have gotten wrecked by the other 8-bit on my team, and that's something especially 8-bit. Another 8-bit is actually is a counter to 8-bit, so it's annoying if you face another 8-bit, because above like 1200, most of the 8-bits are also other 8-bits pushing to 1250, so it's kind of crapshoot a lot of the time, so you can't really guarantee that you'll win kind of most of the time. So yeah, you can see here that because I lost because I didn't really have my turret, and if I had my turret, maybe something would have changed, but I also kind of died first, so it wasn't that good in that situation. So yeah, the next game I'm reloading it just because my game crashed. But luckily, even the side trophies, I didn't die yet, which thankfully happened, because if I died, I would have lost like 13 trophies, and I would have been pretty upset at that. But yeah, so Colt isn't that much of a kind of problem against 8-bit, just because Colt, if you stay your max distance from Colt, they can't really do anything. So that's what I'm trying to do in this matchup against Colt. I'm just trying to kind of stay my distance, and especially like I don't really care if the other person's helping me with a kill, or the Shelly anyways. I know that I can take out the Colt by myself. Like, there's a few matchups where 8-bit can take by himself, and that's most range characters. Like even Crow, if you keep your distance, it's not too bad, and Leon, those are pretty easy to deal with as 8-bit. And yeah, so yeah, BB, I try not to team with BB just because they have really big backstab potential against 8-bit, so I team with them, but I'm just kind of keeping my distance, making sure that kind of they don't kind of have the chance to backstab me, because I know if I'm low that BB's going to backstab me, there's no question about it. And Ems, on the other hand, is someone that I generally don't team with, because if they get into like this distance, the one around the one that the Ems is around, then they can just kill you with like 3 shots, and Ems just does crazy damage right now, so it's kind of bad. But the Ems made the mistake of running into the poison. I think they just wanted to prove your loyalty, but I just backstab, because Ems, I'm not kind of dealing with that on my last round to 1250. And kind of, yeah, so the other BB, I know I'm basically going to win now because I have 8 elixir. BB can counter 8-bit pretty hard late game, but if I have like 4 times the elixir as them, then they can't really do anything about it. Yeah, and the Brock is usually really bad, but yeah, he has like 1 elixir, and I can just kill him with like 1 burst if I was that good, but I'm not. I kill him with 2 bursts. Yeah, and also he's taught me to use the gadget. The gadget with 8-bit is, I think it's very situational. There's not a lot of instances where I used it during my kind of gameplay to get up, to win. But there's certain, especially for running away, I didn't really use it to kill anyone that much. Mostly it's just, if there's someone about to kill me, I put my gadget somewhere else. And especially with the new kind of buff, I think, to 8-bit, where his gadget doesn't die, it's really useful for counterplay in most situations, because I try to keep as much health as possible when I'm running away, and this is usually just to run away from someone like a Leon who might have just invis to me, and I can use my health to, or the extra health and the damage kind of spawnable to kill him. And yeah, you can see here kind of, I'm playing pretty passive, definitely more passive than I think I should be, because there is this Spike. I didn't know where he was, but if he had gone to a good position against me, I don't think I could have won. Yeah, Spike is yet another person who kind of counters 8-bit. There's a lot of characters who counter it, but there's also a few good matchups for 8-bit. Like, I think the good ones, I think I mentioned already, but just range characters, if you can keep your distance, and even kind of tanks like Brawler or Primo, they can be pretty easily kind of beat if you have 8-bit at a distance and you just keep shooting them, if they're really good at dodging. Or if you can see in this situation, if they just keep kind of using the cactus to dodge, then it's a really bad situation. And I lost a few games definitely due to Bulls and BBs kind of just using the cactus and getting closer and closer to me. And yeah, so Jackie is, I really want to take out the Jackie right here, because Jackie just, I can't really deal with Jackie in any situation, so I just keep kind of, I just killed her. And yeah, so here in this situation, kind of, I knew I was in a really good situation, because you really want to be down. I think I fire much better if I'm down, but I also didn't want the other Darrow to kind of get behind me, so I get kind of sandwiched. That wouldn't have been a good situation. And And usually if in this situation I let the spike live, but usually if my teammates aren't doing that much, I kind of kill them early on because I don't really like carrying another random 2 second or third, and just more teammates later on, as you'll see in this match. If you team with a lot of people like end game, it's not good. And I definitely I deserve this 6th place for teaming with so many people. And yeah, so like I think there are a few brawlers where you want a large team, or you can handle a large team. Like if you have Primo and you have his ult, he can win a lot of the large team scenarios. Like my friend this Disco pushed Primo to 1250, and a lot of it was due to kind of winning the end game scenarios where he was teaming with like 6 people at the end. And with his ult, it's just so good for kind of staying alive, basically. And here I could have been pressured a lot harder. Like there was a Jean and a Spike, or there was a Jean and a Leon, and I don't think I could have won that scenario. So technically the 6th place should have been a 10th place, but I stayed alive. And that's something else that I think is important in late in high level showdown. You might lose a lot of trophies, but you also have to look at situations where you should have lost more. Like that situation, I should have gotten 10th and lost 13 trophies, but I didn't. So kind of I thought of that, and it's kind of like a +7, because although I lost 6, I should have lost a lot more in that scenario. Kind of, yeah, so this is what I mean by kind of staying a little bit more passive and allowing other people to fight it out. I could have backstabbed the Jean here, and that probably... Actually, no, I don't think that would have been the right play because of the tanks, but if I can get rid of that bull, then I should have backstabbed the Jean, because, well, they couldn't have really done a lot of... They couldn't have really killed me in that scenario if I had kind of the left corner. And that's one thing that's important with 8-bit. You really want to kind of have a small space, like have a space that you defend well. And usually I like to defend one of the corner bushes. I like to defend one of those large bushes because they're pretty kind of... Not a lot of people go there, and it leads to a really good end game. So, yeah, so you can see here I just died because I made that mistake. I should have killed the Jean and stayed in that pocket, and then used my ult to get to the center, and I probably would have gotten 3rd or 2nd, but it would have been definitely better than 6th. So I deserve that loss, but I hope you learned something from my loss there and work on kind of playing more passive and then winning endgame scenarios. That's definitely going to be your main method of getting up there in trophies. And I hope if you do decide to push 8-bit, please leave a comment saying how the push went, and kind of I wish you luck, and I'll see you in a few days. I haven't been uploading a lot just because I've been pretty busy with schoolwork, but I'll definitely try to upload a little bit more, and I'll definitely upload another video next week. Alright, peace out, guys.